A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians. Brothers and sisters, you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light. For light produces every kind of goodness and righteousness and truth. Try to learn what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the fruitless works of darkness, rather expose them. For it is shameful even to mention the things done by them in secret, but everything exposed by the light becomes visible. For everything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, "Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
My favorite type of flying is night flying. Cityscapes aglow with halogen lights gives a whole new feel to the terrain. Sometimes you can even tell that you're not in the same country anymore because the lights look different. Kuwait, for example, has this neon purple hue that casts over the city at night. It's really quite beautiful. Night flying is also one of the most dangerous kinds of flying, for all of the terrain is masked in darkness. All of the lights, one after another, begin to look the same. All contours go away. It becomes difficult to tell which way is up and where the terrain is. In fact, sometimes it's difficult to tell where you are anymore. For this reason, it becomes important to have two other specific lights. One is the airport beacon. This is, Brent will know, required by the FAA. It's a special light, very bright, that rotates around so that it pulses when you look at it as compared to the rest of the lights. It says, "Here I am. This is where you want to go." Also important are the interior lights within the airplane, without which you won't be able to see your compasses and instrumentation, which tell you where you are, which way is upright, and where is my destination. Light in the Christian tradition has multiple symbols, or represents multiple things. So, for example, reason and faith are considered to be light for the intellect, the light by which we understand things. Likewise, God is light. In Lent, we follow Israel through the desert, preceded by a column of fire. That's a pretty good light, if I dare say so myself. And we're approaching Easter, at which point at the vigil, a ceremony, a ritual entirely shrouded in darkness, at least at the beginning, which begins with the Paschal candle processing in and everyone singing, "Christ our light." Light is important because it helps us to know who we are. As a matter of metaphor, we may say that light is self-knowledge. It tells us what our priorities should be. This light, which is God, also helps us discern the deeper questions. This light, which penetrates our core, it's quite fitting, to our deepest levels, also answers our deepest questions. Why do we exist? How am I to live? What is the destination of my life? Christ is the discerning light that helps us sift through all the other lights which seem to blur together, all voices vying for our authority and vying for our attention. can be difficult to see clearly. What can we do? Well, let me refer you to Holy Father Francis, who tells us in his first encyclical, Lumen Fide, the light of faith, precisely how to go about obtaining this light. The Church, like every family, passes on to her children the whole store of her memories. It is through the apostolic tradition preserved in the Church, with the assistance of the Holy Spirit, that we enjoy a living contact with our foundational memory. And what is communicated through this in the Church, what is handed down in her living tradition, is the new light, born of an encounter with the true God, a light which touches us at the core of our being and engages our minds, our wills, emotions, and opens us up to relationships of true communion with everyone else. The means, he says, by which we get this light is, in fact, the sacraments. Yesterday, I think perhaps yesterday evening, Pope Francis declared in the entire city of Rome a campaign of 24 hours to the Lord, during which several churches within the city of Rome would be open for 24 hours straight for confessions, anytime. That will end today. Elsewhere in the world, other dioceses have sought fit to follow suit. And St. Paul, in a way, even tells us, encourages us to go to confession this Lent. He says, "Take no part in the fruitless works of darkness, rather expose them." Confession has often been seen as a metaphor of bringing our wounds to the divine physician, into the light, so that he may heal us. The light of faith and reason is also that by which we build our relationships, by which we build our communities. They serve as the principles upon which true communion may be established. Let us, this Lent, make further use of that holy sacrament of confession, by which we will see more clearly our intellects purified and our hearts renewed, so that we and our neighbors may be led safely home to the Father.